Let me ask you something real. Have you ever sat on the edge of your bed knowing there's so much more you could do with your life, but feeling paralyzed by something invisible? You're not tired, you're not broken, but you're stuck, and you don't know why. You call it laziness, but deep down, you know it's more than that. It's the weight of unfulfilled potential, the quiet guilt of watching days slip by without taking control. It's painful because part of you knows you were built for more. If that's you, I want you to listen closely. Because in the next few minutes, I'm going to give you 6 practical, powerful tools, not fluff, not hyper-real strategies that can shift your momentum starting to start. Tools I've seen transform tired, frustrated people into focused, fired-up achievers. You don't need to change who you are. You just need to reconnect with who you were meant to be. Are you ready? You're not lazy. You've just forgotten what it feels like to be on fire with purpose. See, most people beat themselves up thinking they have a motivation problem when really they have a clarity problem. If your mind doesn't have a target, something vivid, something emotionally charged, it defaults to survival mode. Comfort, distraction, you scroll, you snack, you snooze, not because you're weak, but because your brain isn't being directed towards something that matters deeply. Let me be real with you, you can't hit a target you can't see. And most people walk around with blurry goals. I want to get in shape. I want to make more money. That's not a goal, that's a wish list. Your nervous system doesn't get lit up by vague ideas, it gets activated by purpose. Specific, emotionally charged, outcome-driven purpose. So you've got to ask yourself, what do I really want? Not what sounds nice, not what other people expect, what would light me up inside if I actually made it real. And then ask the most important follow-up, why does it matter? Why now? Who else will be impacted if I don't make this shift? When your mind locks onto a clear, compelling vision, laziness doesn't stand a chance. Your energy shifts. You wake up differently. You show up differently because clarity fuels drive. Get clear and you'll get moving. If you're trying to break free from laziness, but your environment is built for comfort and distraction, you're fighting a losing battle. You can have all the right intentions, all the right goals, but if the space around you doesn't support action, you'll keep slipping back into old patterns. Why? Because we're not just influenced by our thoughts, we're influenced by everything we see, hear, and feel around us. Take a look at your surroundings. Is your desk cluttered? Is your phone constantly buzzing? Do you have your goals in sight? Or is your TV remote the easiest thing to grab? Your environment is either triggering your discipline or feeding your excuses. It's either reinforcing your commitment or making it easy to check out. Change starts with the space you live and work in. Clean up the visual noise. Put your goals where you can see them every single day. Build friction around bad habits, make them harder to access. And reduce friction around positive ones, make it easy to follow through. Sometimes the fastest way to change your state is to change your space. You don't need a perfect setup. You just need one that reminds you constantly of who you're becoming. Because when your environment aligns with your intentions, it stops pulling you back and starts pushing you forward. Set your space up to support your future, not your past. Most people think they have to wait until they feel ready to start. They're looking for this big wave of motivation to crash over them so they can finally take action. But that wave, it rarely comes. What gets you moving isn't motivation, it's momentum. And momentum doesn't come from giant leaps. It comes from small, consistent wins stacked day after day. You don't have to conquer the whole mountain today. Just take the next step. Something small. Something so easy it's almost laughable. Clean one drawer, write one sentence. Do 5 push-ups, call one person, because when you complete even the smallest task, your brain gets a hit of progress. That sense of I did something starts to build confidence, and confidence fuels action. The problem is we overwhelm ourselves. We stare at the big picture for so long that we paralyze ourselves. But when you narrow your focus to just the next move, you make it winnable. You feel it's possible. And once you start winning, your state changes. You don't wait to feel different, you become different through doing. So start where you are. Don't aim for perfect. Aim for progress. One action at a time. Then stack another. And another. You don't need to see the whole path, you just need to take the step that's right in front of you. Stack the small wins and they'll carry you into massive results. People talk about discipline like it's some kind of gift, you either have it or you don't. That's a lie. Discipline isn't something you're born with. It's something you build, just like a muscle. And the truth is, most people never train it. They wait until they feel like doing something, and when that feeling doesn't show up, they call it laziness. But you can't build your future on your feelings. You've got to build it on commitment. Discipline starts with a decision. A decision that says, I show up no matter what. Not just when it's convenient, not just when you're hyped, but when it's hard, when you don't feel like it, when no one's watching. That's when it counts. That's when you start strengthening your will. You want to make it easier. Build structure around your goals. Time block your day. Set alarms. Use triggers like brushing your teeth, followed by 10 minutes of focused work. That's called habit stacking. You're wiring discipline into your nervous system one action at a time. And over time, it becomes who you are, not something you try to do, but something you live. The more you train discipline, the less you'll need motivation. Because now your actions are no longer negotiable, they're automatic. They're part of your identity. And when that shift happens, laziness doesn't stand a chance. Discipline isn't about forcing yourself, it's about becoming someone who no longer needs to be pushed.